So each week in Unity churches around the world, we sing, "Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me." Peace is certainly a goal that most of us hold and that many people around the world hold. In fact, if you probably interviewed each person on the planet, they would probably say, peace is a value that I hold. I would like to experience more peace in my family, in my community, and see it more in the world. And you may have seen more and more organizations taking a role in peace and moving forward the initiatives of peace. There's currently a bill before the United States House of Representatives to establish a United States Department of Peace. This has actually been being worked on for many years, because I remember in Tallahassee we had Pies for Peace, where we would bring pies into the Congress people, Pies for Peace. And they're still working on this effort to establish a Department of Peace that will enhance our current problem-solving options and provide practical, non-violent solutions to the challenges of domestic and international conflict. Can I get an amen for that? Amen. Yes, give peace a chance. So this is the time of year that Unity and many other New Thought churches participate in the annual Season for Nonviolence, which is a 64-day period. And their mission is to promote the principles of spirit-based nonviolent social action. Have you heard of a Season for Nonviolence? All right, well, some of you haven't, so I'll go ahead and share about that. The Season for Nonviolence marks the anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi's death, and it ends on April 4th, which celebrates the anniversary and of Martin Luther King's life, and that was his passing. So over those 64 days, participants practice a different peaceful action each and every day. It could be something like complimenting someone or picking up trash or being kind to a stranger. There are 64 ways. In fact, I believe that document is online, so I'll make sure I post it on your website, the 64 ways to honor the Season for Nonviolence. And it's awesome to note that citizens in 67 countries have participated since this campaign began 18 years ago. So this is the 18th consecutive year of the Season for Nonviolence. It's honored by the United Nations. It's getting big, it's getting some attention. Let's give peace a chance. So the purpose of this campaign is to focus attention on the philosophy of those reaching peace through nonviolent actions, as demonstrated by Gandhi and the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Cesar Chavez, President Nelson Mandela, and Jesus as well as living legends such as the Dalai Lama, His Holiness, the 14th Dalai Lama of Tibet. And there's an exercise that I facilitate in a workshop that I host, where each person makes a list of the heroes in their lives, those people that they admire. And they write down the qualities of those that they admire. And often those just mentioned, Dalai Lama and Jesus and Nelson Mandela and Gandhi, are on these lists with the quality of peace attributed to them. And in Unity, we learn that divine ideas are available to each one of us. And peace is a divine idea, is it not? So we know that divine ideas help us to be creative and powerful. So the more that we focus on these ideas, the more that we honor them, the more that we notice, the more that we sing about them, we are bringing them into fruition. So the truth is that we are all powerful agents. Actually, we all have the same divine ideas available to us. We have the same divine ideas available to us that Gandhi did. We have the same work to do. And so I say, give peace a chance. We are all for personal and global peace, are we not? Are you ready to give peace a chance? Yes. All right. Are you ready to play your part in adding to the peace of the world? Especially at this time, when we're in this Season for Nonviolence, and the Association of Global New Thought partners with New Thought churches such as Unity to promote peace every year during this time. We know it begins with us. We sing it every week. Let peace begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. So our thoughts and our words and our actions are powerful to create positive change on the planet. And I often turn to music to make a point. And so I turn to John Lennon. You may call me a dreamer, but I'm not the only one, right? There are many, many like us. Victor and I were talking on the way over here, up here, down here, over.
East, out west.
Out here. We're talking about how the teachings that we experience in Unity churches are making their way. They're on Oprah. They are working their way into businesses like Whole Foods, and other businesses as well are taking on leadership philosophies and communication practices that are much more like unity. So we can see this movement, even though it's a grassroots movement, growing and growing and growing, where these loving and inclusive teachings are making their way into the mainstream and beyond. So these words, "You may call me a dreamer, but I'm not the only one," are quoted by so many around the world. We identify with that. We are a part of a global movement. It's true. You know, sometimes I think we might take unity for granted, or we kind of get used to it, but we're on the cutting edge of thought. These ideas are making their way into the mainstream, but yet we are on the leading edge of thought. We have our work to do, and it can be a joyous work. It can be a loving work, a compassionate work, to share these ideas, share the idea of peace, creating ripple effects of good out in the world. These ideas of a deep connection among people, shared resources, gratitude, compassion for one another, and heart-centered communication. Would you like to experience more of that? Yes, absolutely. So if peace is a divine idea, and if we're on the leading edge of thought, just birthing this into the world, then what is it that holds us back? What is it that holds the world back from manifesting a complete picture of peace? Well, it's probably the same thing that gets us in our personal lives. It's the same reason that may block us from experiencing peace in our hearts. Could be limited thinking, a sense of not enough, or a comparison. Or maybe it's a lack of empowerment towards peace. I think I made that phrase up, empowerment towards peace. But as a child, I wasn't empowered towards peace. I was taught about war and about conflict, and eventually maybe I learned a little bit about cooperation, but peace and empowerment towards peace was not a major teaching that I heard. And maybe you are blessed in that way. That's super. I think each one of us could even be empowered towards peace even more. And especially beginning right within our very own hearts, where we may hold some of those conflicts or some of that confusion that we may experience. But we know that divine idea expressed in and through us, and peace is a divine idea. And we can latch onto that idea and be centered in it, hold it, and express it very fully, easily, joyfully. So it seems sometimes that my ego is actually poised and ready to attack. Like, oh, what does this person want? Somebody's coming by my office. They're going to want something. I know it. That's a thought of not peace. It may be a small thing. I may not even think about it. But when I really look at what are the thoughts that I'm holding that may get in the way of me experiencing peace. The phone rings. What do they want? Is it somebody trying to sell me something? Is it my sister calling again? What is it? So these ways that we can actually be defensive instead of just relaxing into life, allowing it to come at us and just welcome it. Give peace a chance. Be curious, even just a sense of curiosity about life. I wonder what my coworker wants this time. Just a sense of curiosity and openness can allow that peaceful presence of God to express through us. You can actually feel it in your body when you're feeling less than peaceful. You may feel it in your jaw or in your shoulders. Your massage therapist probably knows where you're holding it. So any of you hold it in your neck or maybe in your, yes. So we have that sometimes. We can just know that peace is a divine idea, that we were created in the image and likeness of God, and this is a time of awakening. This is our time to shine. A new heaven and a new earth are forming. A new way is becoming the only way for us to survive, and that way involves living in peace, making peace a priority. I'm reminded of the Jimi Hendrix quote. You can tell my musical influences, can't you? I'm reminded of the Jimi Hendrix quote, "When the power of love overcomes the love of power, the world will know peace." So people all over the world are looking for a new and harmonious way of living. They're looking for new ways to express themselves authentically, to get their needs met, and yet to maintain with a peace with the community, with their neighbors, with their family, with the government. And we can do it. We've got the power, we've got the tools. We know that we can demonstrate this peace that is within us. So what can we do personally? What can we do personally to help bring about peace if we know it begins with us? Well, one thing is when we're experiencing something that doesn't feel like peace, we can surrender that to God. God, I am not at peace. And because I'm not at peace, I'm surrendering this to you. Show me another way of looking at this. I'm going to repeat this. It's a simple one. It has helped save me It has helped me, certainly, and before even entering into conflict, to go ahead and surrender. God, I'm not at peace about this. And we know that we're not at peace because we feel it in our gut. We may feel that knot in our throat or that tension in our neck. I'm not at peace, and because I'm not at peace, I'm surrendering my thoughts, feelings, and beliefs about this to you. Show me another way of seeing this, and then let it go. And what I found is then I may go back to my office, I may go for a walk, go into the lunchroom, and a thought comes. Or maybe I witnessed that same person that I thought was so annoying or trying to get something from me, and I see them with eyes of compassion. God shows me another way when I ask for it. So I surrender my view, God, in exchange for yours. That's a shorter way of saying it. I surrender my perspective. Show me a new way. We are bringers of peace. We are actually builders of peace, here to help create a healthy world that works for all. So in thinking of creating peace and being peace builders, I started making a list of those qualities and those habits of peace builders. And one is, peace builders are visionary. They engage in possibility thinking and are able to look beyond appearances to what is possible. So when they experience a challenge, they may say, "Oh, I'm at possibility junction. God is in this situation. I wonder what God is doing here. What is God doing through me, and what is God doing in this situation? How is God trying to express more fully in this situation?" So they are visionary. They're able to hold that high vision, to have a purpose that is beyond the ordinary. They are fueled with passion. So if you've ever heard Martin Luther King preach, if you've ever watched a video of that, you see passion. He was a visionary, and he was passionate. Peace builders are resourceful. They use what they have to get their message out, and they are willing to draw attention to their powerful work that they do. You've probably heard of Peace Pilgrim, who put in over 25,000 miles walking as an activist for peace. She was serious. She looked like she was out there having a good time, and she was, but she meant it, and she was very clear about her message. She would walk into the evening, well into the evening, until someone would provide shelter and food for her. That's how she got out her message. That's how she promoted her wonderful work in the world. Being persistent, she did just what it took to get her message out. So peace builders are resourceful, and they get the word out. Peace builders are willing to take a stand and empower others. Rosa Parks refused to sit at the back of the bus. One empowered person at a time, standing up for their values, creates change, peaceful change in the world. They play their part in educating and uplifting others and help people to find their voice. They may do this in the family unit, in the community, or in the greater world. On a global scale, they stand up and help others to find their voice, to speak up and speak out about what is important, and they draw people to their mission. Peace builders are open to ideas and welcome change. They're not all about the status quo. They are resilient, able to adapt well, able to adapt to adversity, to work with it, to work with stress, to work around it, able to move through feelings of uncertainty. Ever go through change in your life? Perhaps a job change or a move or a relationship change? Adaptability. They're able to be open to new ideas and welcome change. Doesn't mean it's always easy. They just are able to use their resources to get through it, to get over it, get around it, whatever it takes. They're able to manage those thoughts and feelings. Peace builders consider the whole. They're holistic. They look at a situation from different angles. They're able to look at things from multiple perspectives and maybe even see their opponent's view. Well, I can see how somebody would see that, and to be able to address their mission, their work, even from other people's perspectives. You know, we can do this. We have what it takes to be peace builders on the planet. We have the power to choose our thoughts. We have the power to know that our thoughts create reality, that our thoughts, our feelings, our beliefs, our attitudes create our experience of reality. So we can be empowered to know that. And so to know that what we put our attention on is what we're helping to create. What we focus on expands. So what we want to do is put our focus on what we would like to create more of. We want to give peace a chance. Peace builders pay attention. They pay attention to their own self-talk. They listen to one another. They listen to those who are communicating with them. They may listen to the sound of their own voice. They pay attention. Am I coming from a defensive place? Am I centered in peace? Am I using a condescending voice? We listen also when we are peace builders. We listen for what is between the lines, what is not being said. We listen for the message that goes beyond the words. There's a fancy term for it. It's called metacommunication. Peace builders may not even know the fancy term, but they listen. They're listening deeply for what another person's needs are so it can be a win-win situation. And they listen also for spirit, that sacred listening. What is trying to be birthed in this situation? What is trying to come forth? Peace builders create healthy relationships with themselves and others. An example of this is Jesus' teaching to love God and to love our neighbor as ourselves. And we must love ourselves as a part of the allness of God. And when we get that deep self-love, then we can see one another as a part of God as well. It's so much easier to see the divine presence in another when we can feel that light within ourselves. Peace builders seek to understand. You may be familiar with the prayer of Assisi, St. Francis of Assisi, make me an instrument of thy peace. And there's a line in this prayer that goes, O divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. So peace builders seek to understand. They ask questions. They have a sense of curiosity about them. They want to understand what's going on with another person or in a situation. What may be here that I'm not aware of? I seek to understand. I'm curious. It's kind of like an open-armed, open-hearted, open-mind stance that helps me to feel that openness. So what is ours to do? What can we do as individuals? We've got this vision for peace on the planet. We've talked about how peace builders help to create peace and help to create an environment of peace. What can we do? What if we make our lives our spiritual practice? Where whatever comes to us, we can recognize is something that is ours to work with. Perhaps it is ours to bring peace or to just question, to be curious, to be compassionate. We can use whatever shows up in our life as our spiritual practice. We can set forth the intention to live in presence more fully each and every day. I know when I first started in Unity, Sunday was a high for me. And by Wednesday, I was down in the dumps. And I said, they better come up with a midweek service. I'm going to have to stop going to that church. Because I would feel so good, so connected, and then I didn't have anything to sustain it. I had not yet developed a spiritual practice. Having a midweek service, meditation service, or a class, or a prayer circle, or doing some spiritual reading would certainly carry us through. And when we get to that point where we're ready, we can use life as our spiritual practice. We can take these truths and whatever comes our way, just work with it like the master teacher did. Peace is present when I am. When I'm able to be present in my life, when I'm able to be present with myself and whatever is going on with myself, I feel a sense of peace because it's there. It's when I get distracted in life, when I get too busy, when I get off in these thoughts, comparing thoughts or blaming thoughts, that I don't feel the peace that is there. But I'm really present, allow my thoughts to slow down, I can feel it. You may can feel it too. Just feel it like wash over me. We can bring that sense of spaciousness to every situation. That's what it is. Peace is not thinking that we have the answer. It's knowing what we want to bring, but we do so with a sense of curiosity, and that brings about spaciousness. And we can bring this into every moment of our lives. We can be peace builders, and we can give peace a chance. So may your life and may this world be filled with the peace and joy that are already in your hearts. Namaste.